welcome to All Apple Pie and stuff.
I like the intro.
I know it's fun. Um, I'm Lauren. This is my mom, Jennifer, and today we are talking about hobbies and passions outside of motherhood.
Is it outside of motherhood or like in motherhood? Like
I
outside of
guess
our kids? Like stuff
out,
for us.
yeah, I guess outside of our kids, we had it written down as like hobbies outside of motherhood, like things that you do for you. I suppose is really what it should be. It's
I,
what?
there was like such a glare on my glasses, it was a problem for me. My hobby is moving light around.
Right.
Trying to figure out how to not glare my glasses. Never
Well,
works.
and I think this should be somewhat of an interesting perspective because, like, obviously, you don't have little kids living with you anymore. I have little needy people who need things all the time. Like, even right now, we're recording during nap time because that's the time I get.
I wish I
So,
could put my head like this. No
do
glare.
we, do we need to take a minute?
No.
Okay. So, I don't know. What's your take on it?
I mean, I think it's important to come up with something that you're passionate about. You know, just to give yourself something else to do. Mine has changed over time. When the kids were little, I read a lot. Like I read a lot of books about serial killers.
Yeah, I feel like before I had kids, I definitely had a lot more hobbies. But
Like what?
I mean, I worked part-time and then Andy worked he worked that like swing shift. It was like 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So there was a huge chunk of the day where it was kind of just me at the house. I worked part-time, but I worked from home, so I'd do like a 4 or 5 hour shift and then have a whole chunk of time with not much to do. So I think I had a lot more hobbies before we had kids. Like I would knit and make soap and read.
The
And now,
coasters.
yeah, make coasters. My husband and I built a lot of furniture.
Furniture, yeah.
Actually, the desk my computer's on right now, we built that. These ugly storage shelves behind me, we built that. But like, we built a lot of stuff. We haven't done really much of any of that since we moved to Wyoming. Like, we haven't built anything. Part of that's we don't have a shop here. Um, but then, like, once we had kids, it was just really hard to find time for myself to do anything with the little sticky people. So,
I know the one thing I did for a while, which I don't recommend because I ended up with skin cancer, was I used to sunbathe a lot.
well, so, like,
Because
I
my
think it's
kids would
important.
do their thing and I was like, leave mommy alone, soaking up the rays.
I think it's important to have hobbies for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it can be fun when you have little sticky people to have hobbies you can include them in too. But I think we hear it a lot. It's the people who say, like, oh, I've lost myself in motherhood. Like, you get to that point where what do you what are you doing for you? And sometimes it's nothing and you just don't feel like yourself anymore.
Right. And I mean, when they're little, it's hard. It's hard to like carve out time, I think, for, like making furniture or something like that. But you can always read a book or I don't know. I feel like binge watching a show is acceptable. It's not necessarily a hobby, but it's me time. What do you think?
Yeah, and something I've started doing after I had Henry. I kind of did it before too, um, but mostly just because Andy sleeps in. But I get up before everybody else, and I'm not saying that because I know that's a whole thing with influencers being like, wake up an hour before your children and have time for yourself. That's not realistic for a lot of people. I just happen to be lucky. Like both of my kids typically sleep in kind of late. They wake up 8 or 9 in the morning. So if I get up at 7, I have a good bit of quiet time in the morning to, catch up on a show, drink a cup of coffee, do something for myself that I'm doing pretty much every day. I know, like, the first few weeks after Ava was born, I didn't really have that because she was very needy and up all the time. But now she's kind of on more of a normal schedule, so it's been easier. But I think finding some time in the day to just be a person, be yourself, is helpful.
Yeah. So if you do want to find a hobby, though, and maybe your kids are getting a little bit older now, they're in school now, and you're just bored. You want something to do. What do you do? I mean, I started going to the gym when my kids were pretty little yet. That was a thing that I did. They had a daycare there, like babysitting or whatever. So I could go there. I was around other adults that were, into fitness too. To be fair, in the beginning, I wasn't that into fitness. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like super fat, and it was really bad. But I,
The leotard and the leg warmers.
yeah. So because I had children pretty young, I was 20, almost 22 when I had Paige, and then I had Lauren 3.5 years later. So my heyday was the 80s, and if you've ever watched the old 80s like workout videos, that is how people dressed at the gym the last time I had been to a gym. But now we're in the late 90s, early 2000s, and apparently people didn't dress like that anymore. So I was a 250-pound woman wearing a hot pink leotard with like tights, and and I went to the gym. I thought I looked smashing.
Well, and I mean, the gym was great until I got kicked out of the daycare.
She did get kicked out. I still went to the gym, but not as much. But yeah, she did get kicked out of the daycare. She was a bad child, but that's okay. I mean, she wasn't bad for me, but she was bad when I wasn't around. It was, but yeah, so that was really embarrassing. But I want to say, but I still did it. And you know what? I didn't go home when I realized, like, oh Lord, this is bad. No, I stayed the whole day. And I do want to say this, that the other moms, because there was a lot of moms there because of the time of day it was, you know, were very accepting of my crazy leotard and really pretty nice. And I met people there. And so I went back the next day, but I just wore gray sweats like everybody else and a tank top. So it turned out okay. But I mean, that's one thing you could do. You could go to a gym if they have that, or like we have a rec center here in town. They a lot of times have different activities. So look into your community pages too, because I know here we live in a small town in Wyoming, but they're always having like, oh, floral arranging, whatever day, and you can meet people there. You can maybe see if it's something you like doing. But they have like, look at those community pages and just see what they have available, and if you can carve out a little bit of time where you can maybe have your mom or dad or a family member or whoever watch your kids for an hour, because those things are usually about an hour. I encourage you, if you get like I was, like I said, I just hadn't been out in so long that I wore a hot pink leotard. I didn't know where to start. So I did find my passion for fitness after that horribly embarrassing experience. And that's something that I've been doing for 23 years now. I don't go to the gym anymore. I work out at home, but I still have a passion for fitness. That became my love.
Well, and I think, you kind of have that bit of time when you first have a kid where you can't do the things you used to enjoy doing because you just don't have the time of day. You're too tired. The time you do have is spent, cleaning up the house or going on a grocery run or something. So it's okay when you get back to it to not know what you want to do too.
Right.
And, try a few things out. Do you want to do something creative? Do you want to take a workout class? Or I was looking into, there's a martial arts studio in town, and I briefly considered it, and then I saw the price tag and didn't really want to spend the money. Um, but I mean, you can try some things out. You're not committing to it. It's not going to be, oh, this is my life now. I'm a CrossFitter, or
Well, and I went to belly dance the one time I went to that belly dance thing,
oh
and the
god, the
lady,
belly dance.
and I was like, So I got intoxicated the night before, me and a friend of mine, and then we went to belly dancing the next day. And the lady told me this what I was doing was very vulgar. So clearly belly dancing wasn't for me, but we had a good time.
Well, I mean, we've seen other people who belly dance wasn't for either, but
I was too vulgar to belly dance. I mean, it really. Can
yeah,
you
I think
imagine? I was like, oh dear. So I told the belly dance instructor lady, I was like, should I take pole dancing? And she was like, yes, that would be perfect for you. So I had a lot of fun. Didn't end up belly dancing, but it was definitely a fun experience. My God, it was funny. Um, YouTube is another good place to find just hobby, like, pick something on there and they have tutorials for everything. See if you like it.
we have a tutorial for soap making.
We do have a tutorial for soap making.
Um,
By we mean her because I don't make soap.
yeah, I make soap.
She makes
That
soap.
was one of the hobbies I picked up. I don't know, I fell down some like YouTube rabbit hole of watching all these soap making videos, and then I went, I really want to do that. And it kind of like I've always been into, as a kid, I
Making
made
potions.
potions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mother will talk plenty about that. I
The
made a mess,
potions.
got into everything,
Everything.
everything. So I liked that. I also always really liked science. So I was like, ooh, soap making, it's like science and potions. But
And if you like something like that, there are safer things to do with your kids so you can bring your hobby to your kids because they can do the melt and pour soaps.
yeah, that's another one I was going to mention is like, you can have these hobbies for yourself. And maybe there's something you can do with your kids so you can do it a little more often. Like, I really liked baking and cooking. I don't like them so much at the moment. Part of that's just because Ava is a bit of a clinger. So I tend to find time where I'm cooking to be a little more stressful. Um, but I know, like, around Christmas, we had a great time with the kids rolling out cookie dough and cutting out cookies. It was all going swimmingly until Henry realized the cookie dough tasted good. I don't know how much gingerbread cookie
A
dough he
lot.
ate, but it was a lot.
I ate
Because
a
we gave
lot
him like a
too.
little ball of dough and a mini rolling pin, and he was
Mm-mm.
doing awesome. Like, I have pictures of him like with the little rolling pin, doing a great job. But yeah, so you can totally, like, there are hobbies you can get into with your kids, especially as your kids get older. I remember as a kid, I used to work out with you
Yep.
when I could.
Or when I made you because you were making brownies and you were supposed to be sick.
Yeah. So I think that can be a fun time though. Like it can be something you're doing a bit for yourself to, have a bit of you, but also something you can bond over.
Well, and then like Aaliyah, when she was a baby, Paige and Aaliyah lived with us, and I think I've mentioned that on the show before. So Aaliyah got into the baby channel, and on the baby channel they had Zumbini,
Yeah, and
and
if you have little babies and you want to do like exercise, there are exercise programs designed for you to like work out with your baby.
yep, and yeah, Aaliyah liked Zumbini, and then I think Paige even, and Paige does not like to work out; it's not her thing, but she did take Aaliyah to a live Zumbini class, so it ended up being a cool thing. And then the yoga, I'm into yoga, and my granddaughter is over here after school a lot, and so she would come up with her own yoga moves.
The
So
suffering
that,
turtle.
yeah, she did the suffering turtle. That was fun, and it looks like a suffering turtle. Uh, so, so you can. So my passion, I do with the kids. Just, I mean, I do my separate workout, but then, like when Aaliyah's here, sometimes I'll pull out all my exercise equipment. She jumps on that, and Henry does too. Are you
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just watching the cat because he's about to step on the
Oh,
power button on
I
my
just went up. I just
computer.
went up. And then I found like floral arranging by accident because I wanted a Christmas centerpiece and they were stupid expensive.
Yeah.
Um, so Hobby Lobby had their 50% off all the Christmas stuff, so I just bought my own and made it, and it turned out beautiful. So now I do like to do floral arrangements, and I like to make diaper cakes for baby showers. I don't know if I like to make them, but I make them
But
really
you make them.
pretty. I do make them. I make them really pretty. Like I take pride in that, so I like that. So just try a lot of different things, and it can overlap. Sometimes you can do it by yourself. I know what my mom used to like. Uh, Remember those like plaster like animals or what like figurines?
Yeah.
There was a store that had a ton of those, and then you could buy the paint and you could paint them. And she liked to make them. She made like these conquistador bookends for Grandpa because he's in history, and hers were really cool. Like she painted them like very detailed and stuff. But then she used to buy us one, and then while she was doing her painting, my brother and I could do ours. And I had this like ladybug that was a lot of different colors because I used to repaint it all the time, and I think it ended up like hospital green in the end. The whole thing, no spots, just hospital green.
And if you are going to try to do a hobby or a craft or an activity with your kids, I think another important thing to remember is to set your expectations. Because we didn't we like beg for those Christmas ornaments?
Yes! And I said, "You're not going to sit down and do these with me." Yes, mommy, we want them. Yes, mommy, yes, we do. And so I'm type A. And I never was into creative stuff, which is weird because I kind of am now to a degree. Um, so I was like, all right. But I knew once I started doing it, I would have to make the dumb thing perfect. And it was like the sequins, that you stick with the pins. I hate it. I don't recommend it. But we bought them. And so I'm painstakingly. And Lauren did put a few sequins on hers before she gave up and was done. My other daughter, one. She's like, there you go.
Boom.
Boom. I spent another 3 hours doing this stupid pink boot and a stupid Santa head. And then Paige kept trying to hang the ugly boot with one sequin on the tree. I was like, no, it doesn't get tree space. So everybody needs therapy from that one.
The gingerbread man Christmas ornament. Sometimes your kids are going to make things that they think are awesome. And Paige had this. She made it in school, didn't she?
She did, and I want to know who the teacher was. That teacher sucked.
Well, I want to know what the vision was. Like, what did other kids make? Because it was a large, I mean, it was like big as my head, tinfoil cutout of a gingerbread man with a piece of yarn through the top to hang it on and that was it. It was just, that was it. So I don't know if other like kids were like, making impressions for like faces and designs or something, and Paige just was like, boom. This ornament is all right.
And it's very important to foster your kids' passions, but please, she was not passionate about that gingerbread man.
She wasn't, but she was really insistent it had to go on the tree every year. And I just remember you being like, that one goes on the back of the tree, honey. It would look really great over here in the back.
I think the worst mom sometimes.
It was fine. It was on the tree.
It was on the tree until she moved out of the house and I threw that damn thing away, and then she asked about it.
Well, and then you had that
gingerbread man. I'm like, what are you talking about? I gaslighted her.
Then you had that stupid picture I drew you with those like purple metallic markers.
That
little
on my
doodle.
Closet door till we moved.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I'm the reason it was hung up there. I think I just grabbed tape and taped it there for you.
You taped it up there. It was supposed to be a picture of me. I was purple.
Purple with a really big head.
With a really big head, and it was purple. And no, I left that there though because nobody else could see it. It was in the bedroom.
Yeah, and you see, I as a kid was like, it's so beautiful. Mommy wants to wake up and see it every morning.
And now, actually, Aaliyah draws all these things and she wants me to keep all of it, which is not something I did in my mother years. So I throw it away when she's not here. And then she forgets about it.
Yeah, so, what do you do about that? Like, because obviously Henry's not really, like, making art yet.
Hang on, I have the dick house.
It's a dick house. So she's going to get the dick house. It is a beautiful piece of art.
So now they will take kids' art and put it on things that you can buy. And Aaliyah made this. It, and Lauren and I call it the dick house because apparently that's not a dick, it's a house, but it was supposed to go this way, but the teacher didn't know what it was, so she made it this way.
It's a dick house
And we're
descending
not
from the sky.
sure. I was like, is this like a river? She's like, no.
Yeah, she's not very forthcoming with the details.
No,
But
but they made it into a jewelry box.
but like so I know Paige had some things that she was very much sentimental about, didn't want you to get rid of, like her cup.
Her cup was all right.
Yeah. So she took a pottery class in high school. It had to have been in high school because we lived in Elburn. And she brings home these two sad, dinky little mugs that she
And
made.
the one was yellow with like red spots on it.
And that cup was all right.
Yeah, she goes,
So,
hey, this cup is all right.
like, that was the standard for Paige. It's all right. Because the other cup was so wonky, you couldn't have even put liquid in it. But
She gets salty now. She's like, you keep stuff from Aaliyah. I'm like, you bought this for me for Christmas. I was like, I mean, and I love it. I keep it, and I actually have coasters with this on it too. And she's like, you threw my cup away. I'm like, I kept that cup for years. You didn't even care about the cup. Like, this
I think she just
devolved.
likes a reason to
this
be
isn't
salty
even about
sometimes.
hobbies anymore. This is about crapping on our kids' artwork.
It, it's hobbies. It's hobbies. But, like, what do you do? Like, when they get into the drawing stage and they've got 8 million drawings, I mean, I know what you do. You throw them away. But, like,
Yeah.
who
Well, I
was it?
have to. I keep some of it. I have some of the stuff, but not all of it. Not all of it.
It wasn't even about drawings. Somebody said that, oh, don't you have a box for the
Oh,
graduation
box.
cards?
The box. You know what though, and this makes me feel like a terrible grandmother now though, because my grandma, I think it was before she died, but it was when she went into the nursing home or whatever. They, had to go through all my grandma's stuff. She lived with my aunt and uncle at the time. I used to make. She always had this like big coffee can full of just different buttons, like all kinds of buttons. And I loved the buttons, and I used to like glue them onto a piece of paper and then cut them into puzzles, and I'd give them to my grandma. She kept all of them.
Oh,
They
wow.
found them. I know, I suck. She
Yeah.
was a way better grandma than me.
Well, and like, so Andy has boxes and boxes of crap that his family has brought him because they saved everything. And they're apparently very sentimental people, and we're clearly not. We're like,
No.
we chucked the all right cup. But
I waited like a couple years.
yeah, it was a while before you
It
chucked
it
it.
was in my display cabinet, being all
Yeah,
right.
it was all right. It was yellow and red. Um, but like we're not those kind of people, and I can't picture myself being that kind of person to have the box of artwork. Like, does anybody really go through that shit and look at it?
No.
I don't think so. I can tell
Somebody
you how
finds
many
it when you
times,
go into a nursing home.
right? When you go into a nursing home, they're going out through the storage closet after you die.
And then
Like,
that person throws it away. Oh, look,
right,
Grandma kept this. Do you want me to? Yeah, just throw it away. Stupid.
right. So, like, I think, if there's something you have that's sentimental, I guess, but,
We have some. I mean, like Aaliyah and I and Lauren painted Christmas ornaments, and I have those that we
yeah, and those
painted.
turned out pretty.
Yeah, they did. I mean, so I keep some stuff, and I keep some of Aaliyah's drawings. I just can't keep them all because she keeps drawing like so many drawings. I did have like a filing, like one of those accordion things that I had, but then that was overflowing. I was like, baby, I can't keep everything.
Yeah,
But Aaliyah does keep, because the lunch notes in her lunchbox. And when she was spending the night here all the time, I was always writing notes. She has every single note that was in her lunchbox that she ever had.
yeah, and I don't know, part of me feels like I understand keeping something for the sentimental value, But at the same time, if you're never looking at it, eh, maybe I'm a dick, but
I'm cool. Well, and it's probably because you have a mom that's a dick because
well, because like Andy, he has. So when he was in basic training, if you've ever had somebody go to basic training, you know, like they get a very limited number of phone calls. Other than that, it's snail mail, you know. He has every letter I wrote to him while he was in basic training. He has all the like letters and cards and everything from like the whole time we've been together, like in a box. And I'm like, okay, but it just sits in your drawer collecting dust. We could just be rid of it, but
I mean, it's kind of cool. Like your kids will find it someday because so grandma and grandpa, his grandpa was in not yeah, Vietnam. So when he was over there, they wrote letters back and forth. Well, he ran out of paper, and he wrote some of them on pillowcases and sent them to her. Yeah, he had pillowcases that he had written like love letters to her on because they didn't have paper. And she had it all in that trunk I have down here now.
mm-hmm.
And it was kind of cool. I think I must have been like very early teens, I think, when I found them. And it was
Yeah.
kind of cool because, you don't think of your parents like that. Like, I can't imagine my parents being young. And not that they were old when they had me, but they seemed like ancient people.
Right. You always kind of think of your parents as old.
Yeah, I cannot imagine my parents in that Twitter pated stage where they're like, "Oh, baby, I just love you so much, and I can't wait to see your face," And I'm like, yeah, it was almost like reading stuff from totally. And then of course he was away at a war, and they got married while he was over there, like while he was on leave, and then she had a child, and he was gone for almost not quite 2 years of my brother's life, or a year and a half, or something like that. He was gone for a long time after she had the baby. He didn't even see him. So there was like a lot of letters back and forth because now they share a child that he's not getting to see grow up.
Well, and I mean, I think that could tie into hobbies too. Like, what do you do when your spouse isn't around for long periods of time? Because, like, Andy and I got married. We spent 2 days together, and then we didn't see each other for another month and a half because he went back down to the military base in Mississippi. So, I mean, I had a lot of time where he wasn't around, and part of it was, we're going to take pictures, we're going to have things to talk about, but yeah, you got to find something to fill your day.
Well, and we both like singing, so when my kids were little, I mean, there was the working out. I was into that, and that was a daily thing. But like once a month, I would go out with my girlfriends and we'd go to karaoke, just because I like to sing. It was just for fun.
Well, and with your adult kids, you could have, if you're older, your kids are teenagers, adults, there are other hobbies you can do together if you so choose, if your kid wants to do those with you. But like, you and I were both really into creative writing at one point in time,
Hmm.
and now we're writing a book together. So,
Yes, we are.
keep your eyes out for that because it's going to be awesome. But
It is gonna be awesome. We're getting there. We have too many ideas.
yeah, paring down can be a problem. And I think that's another thing with hobbies. Like, I've always been the person who had, like, I wanted to try everything, and I would end up with so many hobbies and dumping so much money into these things, and then just not sticking to with them because, I don't know, I was on to the next thing I wanted to learn how to do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But even if you're not like into like doing a hobby, even if it's just sitting down and watching your favorite show, or if it's taking a nice bath or something like that, just do something that you enjoy. Um, that's just for you, you know. It's
yeah.
just for you. And then if you end up doing a hobby or something and you're really good at it, then maybe you can share it with other people. Like I said, that I kind of happened upon the floral arranging thing, and I've made some floral arrangements for other people now because they're like, oh, I would really love something like that, and I like to do it. So, and I can only have so many floral arrangements in my own home, so
Well,
that's fun.
and if you get into a hobby and you're good at it and you want to, especially because, like, I know quite a few people now who are stay-at-home moms trying to look to the future, like, what am I going to do once my kids start school and I've got more time? you might be able to make money with it too. Like
Sure.
my, actually, both of my mother-in-laws, my husband's biological mother and his stepmother, they both now have businesses based on things that started as hobbies. Jennifer does embroidery and soap making and all kinds of stuff, and she's got a shop that she sells at. And then Robin does stained glass.
Mhm.
And they're both, doing these things as their own small business where they're turning their hobby into a revenue source, which is another cool option you could try.
It is a cool option, but definitely, like, just don't lose your passion, I guess. And passions change over a lifetime. Like, I would have never seen myself writing a book. I tried to write the books many, many years ago. And then it just really didn't go anywhere. So it can always be something that you revisit. And it's different now, too, than what it was originally going to be. But I'm enjoying doing that. I'm enjoying doing it with Lauren because it's just something we can do together. Hopefully, you guys will like it when it comes out, which I don't
Yeah,
know
I
when
hope
that's going to
so.
be.
Yeah, we do not have a release date for the book. If you follow us on Facebook, obviously, when we're getting close to dropping it, we'll be dropping some teasers and putting out, the actual publishing date. We are looking into right now, we're probably just going to publish through Amazon.
I might do a self-published situation.
Yeah, self publishing through Amazon. But I hope you guys will like it. It is going to be an interesting read. The first book, it's just going to be two books, right?
Well, I don't
Most
know.
likely.
We'll see. I mean, we've thought about two books. Would it go into more? I don't know. I guess it depends on how well it's received.
But
I mean, I feel like we can
it's,
expand on it.
yeah, it's a fictional story,
Hmm.
but it centers around a mother's experience. And a lot of the inspiration is based off of things that have happened and things that haven't. Like, things that were wanted to happen, I suppose. But
It's a lot of the stories within the story are things that have happened. Because obviously, when you write something, you're pulling from something. Like there's an inspiration from somewhere. There is a lot of inspiration from real life things that have happened or real life conversations that have happened. The book itself is fictional. Like there,
yes.
it is definitely a much more fantastical thing that we have real life stuff that has happened. And please know this, our family's really friggin' weird. So
Yeah.
our experiences might be too.
Yeah, that's another reason I'm really excited for this as, a hobby we're doing together. It's for one, it's something fun my mom and I are bonding over. We've had a lot of conversations about the book and the directions we're going. For two, it's kind of just a sneak peek into how we are as a family. And I have had many people say, like, oh, that didn't really happen. There's no way your mom was like that. And I just laugh because I'm like, you haven't met my mother. So,
Yeah, mom's interesting. Well, I mean, there's just uh, and the character in the book, the main character, she's a mother, and she's a mother first and foremost, and
yeah.
she will do anything to protect her children.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of the first book is a lot about her becoming a mother and all of those kinds of things. Just the development of her marriage with her second husband and getting to know like the children as they grow and things like that. And then some pretty fantastic stuff happens in the book. And then book two will definitely be a boom.
Yeah, I think book two
Book
is
two
going to
will
be
be
one.
that's going to be a lot more fictional.
Yeah, book two is going to be a lot more fictional, and I am hoping that it'll be quite the surprise to see where the book ends up. So, on the topic of hobbies,
Hobbies.
hobbies. On
Whoa,
the
whoa.
topic of hobbies, I think, you know, find something you like. It's okay if it changes. Involve your kids if you can, and, have realistic expectations of your children. And, maybe you can do something cool with it, like another hobby, podcasting.
Yeah,
So, but
podcasting's cool.
I think that's about
I
all we
mean, I
got
don't
on
know what
that.
else. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Do something.
this devolved.
Do
We
something
got
with your
weird.
time. Do something with your
Yeah,
time. Do
do
it.
something.
Anything.
You know what?
Anything.
Watch a podcast with your time.
Ah, watch a podcast. Yeah.
Boom.
It never gets old.
It's so
I
great.
love
Love
it.
it.